Merhaba, benim adım Yelamanova Amina. This is my presentation about the ancient city Taras and Side. The history of Side begins in the 7th century BC. It was then that the first settlements founded by Greeks from western Anatolia operated here. The city was named after the nymph Side and translated as garnet. At that time it was the largest port of Pamphylia. Where is Side located? The city of Side is located on the Antalya coast of Turkey, in the province of Antalya between the famous resort of Antalya and Alanya. It is located near many resort villages and the town of Manavgat. Taras, another city of southern Kazakhstan that was once the center of the steppe part of the Great Silk Road, is more than 2000 years old. The city of merchants, this has long been called Taras, this capital center of the Turkish and then the Karluks and Karakhanids. This land has preserved traces of settled caravanserais, mud huts of commoners, devils, and remote quarters craft workshops. Since ancient times, Side has attracted the attention of many generals and rulers who want to take possession of this picturesque place. Despite the fact that the city was a major port, it was easily conquered by Alexander the Great. After his death, Side came under the rule of the Ptolemies, and later the Selected. In the 2nd century BC, the settlements belonged to the Roman Empire. During this period, the city was actively developing and became a well-known culture and entertainment center throughout the Mediterranean. It was in Side that they went for the most beautiful slaves from all over the ancient world. Since the largest slave market was located in the city. At the beginning of our era, the Turkish side was burned by the Arabs, which caused the locals to leave the city and go to neighboring Antalya. At the end of the 19th century, the places began to revive thanks to Turkish immigrants from the islands of Crete. Taras is one of the oldest cities in Kazakhstan. Now already in the 6th century, the city has remained the most important center of non-ferrous metallurgy for centuries. Local craftsmen were discouraged by high artistic performance of forging and casting. An example of foundry art is the ritual cauldron of the mausoleum of Ahmet Yasawi in Turkestan. Taras reached the peak of its development in the 10-20 centuries, when it became known as the capital of the Karakhanid state. Its former greatness is evidenced by an extensive network of water pipers made of clay pipes. The remains of the architectural sculptures, sidewalks, and paved streets, numerous products of skilled craftsmen during excavations in 1220. Taras was besieged by Genghis Khan troops and completely destroyed at the end of the 8th century. Life appeared again near its ruins. A fortress was built. The city began to develop rapidly. Dozens of historical monuments of the former heyday of these places have been preserved in the Taraz region. The mausoleums of Karach and Devilbek, the castles of the Rules, and many others. Architecture of the city of Side. In the south of the Side Peninsula, in a picturesque area right by the sea, two temples were once built. One of them, the eastern one, was a temple of worship at Apollo, and the western one was dedicated Artemis. These gods were considered the main gods of the city. Example architecture in Kazakhstan, Karakh Mausoleum in architectural monuments located in the central part of the city of Taraz, at the intersection of two streets by Zag Batar and Tolebi. The mausoleum is part of a cult memorial complex formed on the territory medieval settlement. Cities have Instagram page where they post interesting facts and news. You can find out all the information, the weather is, and various situations there. It is very convenient and facts fast nowadays. Where also cities when you can order or book trips to these cities. I didn't find information on how many tourists visited these cities in 2019, but I know that 5 million people visited Antalya in the 2019 year. I think that half of the tourists could visit the city of Side. The city is just a 1 hour drive from Antalya. What unites these two cities is not only their ancient age, but also the tourist need. Not a small number of guests visit these cities every year. The atmosphere in the cities is individual and unique. The architecture has been preserved to this day. People want to see these places and enjoy them. Today there are many different towers. To get there, there are tours where food and accommodation they includes, which is very convenient for tourists. I admire ancient city and definitely I want to visit them. I think you were interested in my presentation. Thank you for your attention.